you're barely ever going to be stopping at a gas station. You're going to be driving by a lot of them. And at 50 MPG with an 11-gallon tank, say 10 and give yourself a gallon buffer, that's 500 miles on a single tank of gas. Stickering at under $32,000 fully loaded, this 2026 Hyundai Elantra Hybrid in its top limited trim is very good value for the money. The 1.6 liter hybrid 4-cylinder under the hood is rated for nearly 50 MPG across the board. So yes, you will not be spending a fortune on this Elantra. And to that end, we already know the 2027 model is going to be all new, so perhaps you can get an even better deal at your local dealership. In this video, I will show you everything there is to love about this 26 Hyundai Elantra. This video brought to you by Screen Protect, screen protectors for your vehicle. Learn more about how to protect your screens at the end of the video. Perhaps the biggest reason you should shop this Elantra Hybrid over any of its similarly priced crossover competition lies under the hood here. We get a 1.6 liter, naturally aspirated, but hybridized 4-cylinder. Here, making a total system output of 139 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, sending it to the front wheels through a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission. But the biggest number here is the fuel economy. This is EPA rated at 49 MPG city, 52 on the highway, and 50 combined on regular fuel with an 11-gallon fuel tank. So yes, no matter what is going on over in the Middle East with oil prices, you're barely going to be putting any fuel in this, and that is why you would want to shop this against any $32,000 priced crossover on the market. Our pearl white tester wears this very angular styling very well, but this is also very indicative of the prior generation of Hyundai design language. So yes, that 2027 model is going to look drastically different than this 26. I have long praised the Korean family of brands of Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis for their bold wheel designs, and I think that holds up here on this 26 Elantra. We get this star-styled 5-spoke wheel. These are 17-inch in diameter. They are painted. They have a very good look to them. They are wrapped in some 225/45 R17 Hankook Energy GT tires. Say that 5 times fast. Outside of its very efficient hybrid powertrain, its wedge shape also helps contribute to those stellar fuel economy numbers. And it does wear a very angular style design on the side, up front, and in the rear that is very reminiscent of the prior generation Hyundai design language. Yes, the 2027 model will look drastically different, and we have that full story for you over at gtgaragetalk.com. I want to take a pause from the automotive content for just a moment here to say that I know there is a lot going on in the world right now, and if you feel like you are carrying a burden that is just too heavy for you, the good news is you don't have to do it alone. God will help you if you just ask him. Just like up front and down the side, back here in the back, everything is very angular and very sharp and to the point, if you get my meaning. We do have this visual distinction here on the trunk lid that gives the rear window a more fastback-like design, but this is just gloss black plastic underneath the rear window on the trunk lid itself. Speaking of the trunk lid, we do have a power release button right there to open it up, and you can see we get a good amount of space in here, but just be careful when packing it up because these hinges will impede on your cargo space just a bit. We can fold down the 60/40 rear seat with these 2 latches here, but that necessitates reaching through and pushing on the seat back to fold them down. You aren't going to need it much though, because this is a very large for the segment rear trunk, and while yes, it's no crossover, you lose vertical height, it is still very spacious for most people's needs. And there is some additional space underneath, but yes, there's no spare tire on this one. To help with the fuel economy and to save weight, we have a fix-a-flat kit under this false load floor, so don't go around getting any flat tires in the Elantra Hybrid. One small gripe I have is when you go to close it, you're going to be getting your pearl white paint dirty and smudged up because there is no handle underneath the lid here. Yes, you're going to have to grab it out here and pull it closed. Small gripes, I know, but just something worth noting on the back of this Elantra. Setting off in the Elantra, I am not going to do a normal drive route because, well, you buy one of these for its insane fuel economy, not its driving passion. And I can already tell you, yeah, there isn't a lot of passion behind the driving dynamics of this Elantra Hybrid. So if that's why you're shopping this, maybe scroll on to the next video. We have plenty of stuff here on the channel that is very fun to drive in all scenarios, including things with hybrid powertrains. This one just isn't quite it. It's not a total snooze to drive, but that's not why you're getting this Elantra Hybrid. You're getting it because of its stellar fuel economy rating. And as I mentioned, yes, when it was delivered to me from the warehouse in Dallas, they were flirting with 50 MPG in that trip alone. Now, we do have not one, but 2 trips to Dallas coming up that are unfortunately after my normal filming window on this one. So I'll put some B-roll over of exactly how good a fuel economy return we did get with our full family loaded up in here and all of our luggage in the back. Before we climb in, I did want to show you the Hyundai key. It is the Hyundai logo, and you can see we have lock, unlock, remote start, and a panic button, and a trunk release button, but no remote smart park in this because that is not a feature here. We do have proximity, passive entry, front door handles. You unlock it by grabbing, you can lock it by pressing right there. Only on the front door handles though, so if you need to load a kid in the back seat, you're going to be grabbing the front door handles first. When you open it up, I really like what Hyundai has done with the interior here. It has been 3 years since we spent time with an Elantra, and I was very pleased when I first opened the door here. We have the H-Tex synthetic leather seating, but we do have this nice premium cloth door inset that just breaks up the black and the light grays of the seat material. It all works very nicely. You can see we do have 2-person memory seat here for the driver, and then all of our controls down there on the door for your windows. Express up down for the driver's window only. I would like to see that on all 4. But we do get a window lockout here if you don't want your kids messing with it in the back seat. As we look down further, we get a little storage in the doors. We get multi-way adjustable seats for the driver here. And as I mentioned, yes, these are not leather wrapped, but rather the H-Tex synthetic leather. I think they're rather comfortable, but they are a little bit on the firm side. These are heated and ventilated, which is very welcome on a warm summer day here in East Texas. As I climb in, I have left this thing running. You can see it's about to shut off on me as I've been filming. So I have obliterated my fuel economy, but I have seen over 40 as I've been driving this around. It was delivered to me with nearly 15 MPG on the trip computer, and that is coming 90 miles from Dallas. So very impressive here. But I will say, much like we're wearing exterior styling from prior generation Hyundai products, we get interior bits from prior generation Hyundai products. We get the twin 10.25-inch screens here. So yes, we do get a full digital gauge cluster and a full infotainment screen here, but it is the older infotainment screen and smaller infotainment screen. 10.25 versus 12.3, which is the new standard for the brand. So this could very much use an upgrade. Another thing that could use an upgrade and may be a deal breaker, this has wired Apple CarPlay via a USB-A port, not USB-C. We do have USB-C for charging, as well as a Qi wireless charger down here, but USB-A is the only way you're going to interface with your phone on the screen here. We do have Hyundai Pay and all the other modern amenities, but yeah, that's a little outdated. We also get the Tucson steering wheel that we've seen in the Tucson for years, but we get all the necessary buttons here to control the screen here and all your driver assistance stuff. Over our left knee here, you can see we have our brightness control for our gauge cluster, a jump start button essentially for your 12-volt battery, a poverty blank, and your traction control defeat. Down here, we do have a panel for all our fuses, so don't get too excited that it is additional storage, because it is not. Over here, speaking of storage, we do have that Qi wireless charger and a hard plastic mat down here for storing some items. But moving back, we do get 2 large cup holders and a decent sized center console. Lots of gloss black around the cup holders, around the side here, and around the controls for our dual zone climate control. I do appreciate we get physical buttons for everything, including our heated and ventilated seats up front, which is nice, and all of our radio controls, which I like. We get some nicer materials up here. They aren't all hard plastic, but all of this is hard plastic. So yes, the interior here definitely shows that you only paid under $32,000 for this Elantra. Looking in the glove box, it is neither damped nor felt lined. It is just going to drop down on you. Just be aware of that before you pull that lever. Looking up, we have an auto-dimming rear view mirror with a decent view out that back window. Looking up, we have controls for our sunroof, which is standard size and has a manual shade. And we have a very unique, feels like recycled paper almost, headliner here. It doesn't feel cheap. It just feels interesting, I shall say. Coming to me, I sit all the way down at 5'10", so I've got plenty of headroom here, but taller torsos may be a little bit compromised in overall headroom in here. I'm just fine though, but let's check out that back seat. As we take a look at the back doors, just a reminder, you will have to unlock the vehicle first. No proximity passive entry on these back doors, but when you do open it up, I appreciate we get that same cloth material on the back doors, but not the seating material. So only one additional tone and material here on the rear doors, and basically a glorified bottle holder down low with a decently sized pull storage cubby right there. You can see the backs of the front seats get more of that cloth. I really do appreciate Hyundai for using multiple materials and colors and textures in here. It really works nicely. Coming in and sitting behind myself, you can see, yes, I've got plenty of room. My feet tuck up nicely right underneath front seat here, and I have hard plastic here, so if Tucker wants to kick it, he absolutely can. But yes, all that premium nice cloth back here with hints of blue woven into it. Very nice. No air vents on the back of the center console, but we do get 2 additional USB-C ports down here as well. We have adjustable headrests all the way across, which is very welcome. We have a pull-down armrest with 2 cup holders, no grippers, no rubber, anything in here, so careful that you don't put any Lego or anything hard plastic that might rattle around on you. This is a 60-40 split folding rear seat, but again, you have to fold that down from outside, or in the trunk rather. Coming to me, I'm surprised at how much headroom I have back here. There is a cutout for my head right where I'm sitting, and I'm pleasantly surprised with how much space I have back here compared to something like a Honda Civic hatch, where my hat was definitely touching the roof the last time I sat in the back seat of a Civic hatchback. Huge thanks to Screen Protect for not only sponsoring this video, but helping protect my sister-in-law's Hyundai Santa Fe. Yes, we installed the anti-glare screen protector here on this massive screen. It's actually 2 12.3-inch screens, but Screen Protect gives you one large panel to go across both, giving a very consistent look, which I very much appreciate. They even have an additional panel here for the fingerprint reader, which I really like. All in all, the installation went on in under 10 minutes, and they give you all the necessary tools. You can find a Screen Protect screen protector for your vehicle in the link in the video description down below. Huge thanks to Screen Protect for sponsoring this video and helping out my sister-in-law's vehicle in the process. Yes, this is a very roomy, spacious, comfortable cruiser for running errands around town or making long trips, which in our case are 90 miles one way and 90 miles back, yeah, plenty of miles will be put on this Elantra. And I doubt I'm going to use any gasoline at all. It is very impressive just how Hyundai has tuned this hybrid system. Just driving it around town, getting a feel for it after taking delivery, I was impressed with how much the electric motors actually move this thing along. I said motors, I meant motor. This thing is very easy to push around using only electrons and not dino juice, as it were. And that is the biggest talking point here, is the fact that you're barely ever going to be stopping at a gas station. You're going to be driving by a lot of them. And at 50 MPG with an 11-gallon tank, say 10 and give yourself a gallon buffer, that's 500 miles on a single tank of gas, which around here has just crept up above $3 a gallon again. So maybe sound off with your current gas prices down in the comments below. Everything in here is exactly where I would expect it. I do lament only having a USB-A interface with the screen here, so I can't even show you CarPlay because I don't even know where my last USB-A to USB-C cord is. I'm gonna have to dig it out before our trips to Dallas, I assume. Another gripe or complaint I have, even though, yes, we have nice features like auto hold where I can take my foot off the brake in stop and go traffic, we have a camera button here that triggers a backup camera only. And so you don't have just a total black screen up here. For whatever reason, I get Hyundai's GPS map system here when I push the camera button. I don't know, it's interesting. I wish they would have just filled the screen with it. But yes, this is typical old school Hyundai by modern standards. I do have it on good authority through our reporting on GTGarageTalk.com that we're going to completely skip over the 12.3-inch infotainment and driver information screens in the Elantra platform and go to the new Hyundai OS with an entirely different set of operating screens and systems here inside, and it will grow even larger over this current Elantra. And while yes, that back seat is definitely not cramped, yes, having more space will surely be welcome. I can't really tell you too much about that new Elantra yet because the US spec version hasn't even been unveiled yet. Just know that it's coming and you are going to want to hit the subscribe button down below so that you don't miss that when it comes out. Follow along with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to the new GTGarageTalk.com where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter and have all the latest automotive news delivered directly to your inbox every week, including updates on this Elantra platform. But as I said, closing this one out, this is under $32,000 and will not cost you an arm and a leg to insure or fuel up. So this really is a very good bargain at sticker price. But as soon as more details come out on those 27s, I'm sure you'd be able to get some really good deals from your local dealer on a 2026 model. Just food for thought. Until next time, gearheads. Bye.